The silence in the master bedroom was louder than any choir Bishop Marcus King had ever directed. It was a suffocating, heavy silence that pressed against his eardrums, broken only by the sharp, ragged breathing of the man standing by the window. That man was Trey, the personal trainer Marcus had hired to help his wife get back in shape. But right now, Trey wasn't wearing gym clothes. In fact, he was barely wearing anything at all. Marcus stood frozen in the doorway, his hand still gripping the cold brass handle. His brain couldn't process the image in front of him. His wife, Vanessa, the First Lady of Greater Hope Cathedral, the woman who sat in the front row every Sunday in her pristine white hats, was clutching a silk sheet to her chest, her eyes wide with terror. This was the moment that would shatter everything. This was the moment the man of God realized his own house was burning to the ground. But to understand how Bishop Marcus King ended up standing in the wreckage of his own life on a Tuesday night, we have to rewind the clock about 3 hours. It was a humid evening in Houston, Texas, the kind where the air feels thick enough to swim in. Inside the massive sanctuary of Greater Hope Cathedral, the air conditioning was blasting, but Marcus was sweating profusely. He stood at the pulpit, looking out at 3,000 faces waiting for a word from the Lord. The organ was humming low and sweet, setting the atmosphere for what was supposed to be a powerful revival service. Marcus adjusted his microphone, but his hand was trembling. It wasn't the Spirit moving him, it was a wave of nausea that rolled through his stomach like a storm. He felt dizzy. The bright stage lights blurred into halos of gold and white. He tried to focus on his sermon notes, but the letters seemed to dance off the page. "Saints," Marcus said, his voice booming through the speakers, though it felt distant in his own ears. "The Lord is, He is good." A chorus of amens rippled through the crowd, but Marcus knew he was fatting. He signaled to Elder Thomas, his head of security and right-hand man, who was standing in the shadows stage left. Thomas saw the subtle nod, the code that meant "get me out of here." Marcus stepped back from the podium, letting the praise team take over. "I need to go," Marcus whispered to Thomas as he was escorted backstage. "I'm not feeling well. Tell the congregation I've gone into deep prayer for the altar call. Do not alarm them." "I'll have the driver bring the car around, Bishop," Thomas said, reaching for his earpiece. "No," Marcus interrupted, loosening his tie as he gasped for fresh air. "I just want to drive myself. I need the quiet. I need to clear my head. Just get my keys." Thomas hesitated. The bishop never drove himself. He was an icon in Houston, a celebrity. But seeing the pale, clammy look on Marcus's face, Thomas didn't argue. He handed over the keys to the black Mercedes S-Class. The drive from the church to the King estate in the exclusive River Oaks neighborhood usually took 40 minutes, but Marcus made it in 25. He drove in silence, gripping the leather steering wheel. He felt a strange sense of unease that had nothing to do with his stomach. It was a spiritual heaviness, a prickling on the back of his neck that he couldn't shake. He pulled up to the heavy iron gates of his home. The house was a sprawling mansion, a testament to the success of his ministry and his best-selling books. It was dark, save for a few landscape lights illuminating the manicured hedges. Vanessa should have been at the church service, but she had texted him earlier saying she had a migraine. "Rest, my love," he had texted back. "I'll handle the ministry." He parked the car quietly, not wanting to wake her. The house was silent as he entered through the garage. The marble floors of the foyer reflected the moonlight streaming through the high windows. It was picture perfect. It was the life everyone envied. Marcus loosened his collar completely and started up the grand staircase. He just wanted to take a hot shower, crawl into bed beside his beautiful wife, and sleep off this sickness. As he reached the landing, he heard it. It was a sound coming from the master suite. Laughter, low, husky laughter, then a thud like something heavy hitting the floor. Marcus frowned. Was the TV on? Has Vanessa fallen? He walked down the hall, his footsteps muffled by the thick carpet. He reached the double doors of the master bedroom. He didn't knock. It was his room, his sanctuary. He turned the handle and pushed the door open. The scene hit him like a physical blow to the chest. Clothes were scattered across the floor. A man's t-shirt, a pair of sneakers Marcus didn't recognize, and Vanessa's blue dress. And there, by vanity, caught in the act of betrayal, were Vanessa and Trey. "Hey my people, let me pause right here for a second because I know your jaw is on the floor just like mine is. Fam, if you are feeling the tension in this room right now, go ahead and hit that like button for me. Can you imagine? You leave church early because you're sick, only to come home and find the sickness is actually in your own bed. That is messy. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to join this storytelling family because it is about to get so much deeper. You think this is bad? Wait until you see how they handle it. Now let's get back to the bishop. His nightmare was just beginning. Time seemed to restart with a violent jolt. "Oh my God!" Vanessa screamed, scrambling backward, pulling the sheet up to her neck. Her face drained of color, turning a ghostly shade of gray. Trey, the young trainer with the sculpted arms and charming smile that Marcus had paid thousands of dollars to, looked like a deer in headlights. But his fear quickly turned into a desperate flight response. "Bishop, look, I didn't know you were coming back," Trey stammered, backing toward the window, then realizing that was a dead end. He looked toward the door where Marcus stood, blocking the exit like a stone statue. Marcus couldn't speak. His throat was dry. The rage was building in his chest, hot and volcanic, but his feet wouldn't move. He was a man who preached about forgiveness, about love, about the sanctity of marriage. And here was the devil wearing gym shorts standing in his bedroom. "Get out," Marcus whispered. It was barely audible. I'm going," Trey yelled. He grabbed his jeans from the floor, not even bothering to put them on properly. He shoved past Marcus, his shoulder checking the bishop hard against the doorframe. Marcus didn't stop him, he didn't swing, he didn't tackle him. He just stood there, letting the intruder flee. He heard Trey's heavy footsteps thundering down the stairs, the front door slamming open, and then the screech of tires peeling out of the driveway. And then there was silence again. Marcus slowly closed the bedroom door. The click of the latch sounded like a gunshot in the quiet room. He turned to look at Vanessa. She wasn't crying anymore. The initial shock had faded, replaced by something else. She sat on the edge of the bed, wrapped in the sheet, her hair messy, her makeup smeared. She looked broken, yes, but she also looked relieved. Marcus walked over to the armchair in the corner and sat down heavily. He felt like an old man. The dizziness from the church was gone, replaced by a cold, numbing clarity. "Vanessa," he said, his voice trembling with suppressed fury. "Trey, the boy I hired to help you with your health, in our bed." Vanessa looked down at her hands. "I know how it looks, Marcus." "How it looks?" Marcus laughed, a harsh, bitter sound. "It looks like adultery. It looks like you have defiled our marriage covenant. It looks like you have destroyed everything we built." He stood up, packing the room. "Do you have any idea what will happen if this gets out? The board, the congregation, the sponsors, my reputation." "Vanessa, you didn't just cheat on me, you cheated on the ministry, you cheated on God." Vanessa's head snapped up. Her eyes, usually soft and supportive, were blazing with a fire Marcus had never seen before. "The ministry," she spat the word out like poison. "That's all you care about, isn't it? The reputation, the brand, the Bishop Marcus King Empire." "I built this for us," Marcus shouted, pointing a finger at her. "No." Vanessa stood up, tightening the sheet around her body like armor. "You built it for you. You talk about saving souls, Marcus, but when was the last time you looked at me? I mean, really looked at me. When was the last time we had a conversation that wasn't about the budget or the choir or the next conference?" Marcus paused, taken aback. "I work hard to provide this life for you. Look around you, Vanessa. You live in a palace." "It's a prison," she screamed, tears finally streaming down her face. "It's a lonely, gold-plated prison. I have been drowning in this house for 5 years, Marcus. I tried to tell you. I tried to schedule dates. I tried to come to your office and your secretary told me you were booked. Your own wife needed an appointment to see you." Marcus felt a sting of guilt, but he pushed it down. "So you turned to a child, a hireling." "I turned to someone who saw me." Vanessa stepped closer, her voice dropping to a dangerous whisper. Trey listened. "He asked me how my day was. He looked at me like I was a woman, not a prop for your Sunday sermons. I didn't want to hurt you, Marcus. I just wanted to feel alive again." Marcus looked at her, really looked at her for the first time in years. He didn't see the First Lady, he saw a stranger. "It's over," Marcus said coldly. "He's gone. You will pack your things and you will go to your mother's house in Dallas until I decide what to do." Vanessa laughed, but there was no humor in it. She walked over to the window where Trey had been standing moments before. She looked out at the dark driveway. "You think he's just gone, Marcus?" she asked softly. "He ran like a coward," Marcus scoffed. He knows better than to come back here. Vanessa turned around, her face pale. You don't understand, Trey isn't just some random trainer, he's got debt, Marcus, bad debt, and before he ran. She pointed to the nightstand. Marcus looked, his stomach dropped. Vanessa's phone was missing, but lying there right where her phone should have been was a small, black business card. It wasn't Trey's trainer card, it was blank except for a smiley face drawn in red ink. He took my phone, Vanessa whispered, her voice trembling with a new kind of terror. Marcus, he has everything, the texts, the photos, the videos. Marcus felt the room spin. Photos, videos. What kind of videos, Vanessa? Marcus asked, his voice barely a squeak. Vanessa didn't answer, she just buried her face in her hands. Suddenly, the house phone on the bedside table began to ring. It was a loud, jarring trill that echoed through the tense room. It rang once, twice, 3 times. Marcus stared at the phone. Who would be calling the house line at this hour? He reached out a shaking hand and picked up the receiver. Hello. There was a pause, a crackle of static, and then a voice that was smooth, calm, and terrifyingly familiar. Good evening, Bishop, Trey's voice purred through the line. I hope I didn't interrupt your prayer time, but we need to discuss a donation, a very large donation. Was this just a shakedown, or was the bishop about to pay for sins he didn't even commit? The demands Trey was about to make would make the fires of hell look like a vacation. The receiver felt like a block of ice in Bishop Marcus King's hand. The voice on the other end was too calm, too casual, like a man ordering a pizza rather than blackmailing one of the most powerful religious leaders in Texas. Did you hear me, Bishop? Trey asked, the smirk audible in his voice. I said I need a donation, let's call it a scholarship fund for a promising young entrepreneur. Marcus gripped the phone so tight his knuckles turned white. Beside him, Vanessa was trembling, her eyes fixed on the floor, unable to look her husband in the face. How much? Marcus asked, his voice low and dangerous. 100,000, Trey replied instantly. Cash, small bills, non-sequential, like in the movies, you've got 48 hours. If I don't hear from you, that little video on your wife's phone, the one from last Tuesday, it goes to the Shade Room, the church board, and every local news station in Houston. You wouldn't dare, Marcus hissed. Try me, Trey laughed. I've got nothing to lose, Bishop. You've got an empire to lose, you've got a reputation. Think about how you'll look explaining to your congregation why another man was doing your job in the bedroom. The line went dead. Marcus slowly lowered the phone back to the cradle. For a long minute, the only sound in the room was the hum of the central air conditioning and Vanessa's jagged breathing. He turned to her, his face a mask of cold fury. $100,000, he said, the words heavy like stones. He wants $100,000 to keep the world from seeing your sin. Vanessa wrapped her arms around herself, tears streaming down her face again. Marcus, I'm so sorry, I never meant for this to happen, I was weak. Weak? Marcus stepped closer, looming over her. Weakness is eating a donut when you're on a diet, Vanessa. This is destruction. You gave a predator the keys to our life. I didn't know he was like this, Vanessa cried out, finally looking up. He was kind, he listened to me when you wouldn't. Do you know how many nights I sat in this big empty house waiting for you to come home from a meeting? Do you know what it feels like to be a widow to a living man? Don't you dare try to flip this on me, Marcus shouted. His voice echoing off the high ceilings. I built this life for you, the cars, the clothes, the respect, you have it all because I worked for it. I don't want the respect, Vanessa screamed back, standing up to face him. I wanted a husband, but I got a CEO. They stood there, chest to chest, breathing hard. The air between them was toxic, filled with years of unsaid words and resentments that had finally boiled over. But beneath the anger there was fear, a deep, paralyzing fear. We cannot let this get out, Marcus said finally, stepping back and straightening his suit jacket, though he was still in his shirt sleeves. His voice shifted from husband to manager. The annual Faith and Family Conference is next month. Ticket sales are already at a record high. If this scandal breaks, we lose everything. The TV deal, the book contract, the new building fund, it all evaporates. Vanessa wiped her eyes. So what do? Do we pay him? We have no choice, Marcus said, walking to the window and looking out into the dark night. I have to liquidate some assets quietly. It will take a day or two. Until then, he turned back to her, his eyes hard. Until then, we are the perfect couple. We smile, we hold hands, we sit together at dinner. No one, and I mean no one, can know that this house is falling apart. Hey my people, let me jump in right here because this is getting too heavy. Fam, if you're feeling this story, drop a 100K in the comments right now. Can you imagine? You are stuck in a house with the person who betrayed you, and now you have to pretend everything is peaches and cream just to save your reputation. That is a special kind of torture. It really makes you wonder how many perfect couples we see on Instagram are actually living in a war zone behind closed doors. It's scary to think about. Don't forget to subscribe to join this storytelling family because we are just getting started, and you do not want to miss the twist coming up. Now let's get back to the Kings, because their performance of a lifetime was about to begin. The next 3 days were a suffocating nightmare. The King estate, usually a place of peace, became a battlefield where the weapons were silence and cold glares. Marcus moved into the guest bedroom down the hall. They avoided each other in the corridors, turning corners sharply to keep from making eye contact. But in public, they were Oscar-worthy actors. On Wednesday night, they hosted a dinner for the church deacons. Marcus sat at the head of the long mahogany table and Vanessa sat to his right. When the housekeeper brought out the roast chicken, Marcus placed a hand on Vanessa's shoulder. "My beautiful wife organized this whole menu," Marcus told the deacons, flashing that million-dollar smile that had charmed thousands. "She is the heart of this home." "Oh, stop it, honey," Vanessa said, placing her hand over his. Her nails dug slightly into his skin, a warning or perhaps a punishment. "You're the one who inspires us all." The deacons nodded and smiled, oblivious to the fact that the couple holding hands hadn't spoken a real word to each other in 24 hours. Under the table, Marcus's leg was bouncing nervously. Every time his phone buzzed in his pocket, his heart stopped, thinking it was Trey. Thursday morning brought a new level of tension. Marcus was in his home office trying to move funds around without alerting the church's finance committee. It wasn't easy to pull out $100,000 in cash without raising red flags. He was sweating, juggling accounts, sweating through his shirt. He kept telling himself this was the only way: pay the man, delete the videos, save the church. He convinced himself that he was doing this for God, but deep down, a small voice whispered that he was doing it for his own ego. Vanessa, meanwhile, was trapping herself in her walk-in closet. She couldn't bear to be in the main bedroom, the scene of the crime. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw the look on Marcus's face when he opened the door. The disgust, the hatred. She felt trapped. Trey had her phone, which meant she was cut off from the world. She couldn't call her friends, she couldn't call her sister. She was isolated in a mansion with a husband who looked at her like she was a disease. Around 2:00 p.m. on Thursday, the landline rang again. Marcus picked it up in his office. He didn't say hello. "Do you have it?" Trey's voice asked. No pleasantries this time. "I'm getting it," Marcus snapped. "These things take time. I can't just walk into a bank and ask for a bag of cash." "You have until tomorrow night, Bishop," Trey warned. "And don't think about calling the cops. If I see one squad car, one uniform, I hit send on this video, and let me tell you, the lighting is very flattering. The world will see everything." "I said I'd pay," Marcus shouted, losing his composure. "Just tell me where." "I'll text the location to your burner phone." "You do have a burner phone, right? A man with your secrets always has a backup." Marcus slammed the phone down. He didn't have a burner phone, but he would go buy one. He was sinking deeper and deeper into the mud, becoming a criminal to hide a sin. He walked out of his office and nearly collided with Vanessa in the hallway. She looked frail, her eyes red-rimmed. "Did he call?" she whispered. "Yes," Marcus said, not stopping. "It's set for tomorrow night. After that, this nightmare is over." "Is it?" Vanessa asked, her voice trembling. "Marcus, even if we pay him, how do we fix us?" Marcus stopped. He didn't turn around. "Let's focus on surviving first, Vanessa. We can talk about us when I'm not being extorted." He walked away, leaving her standing alone in the grand hallway. Friday afternoon arrived with a storm. Thunder rumbled over Houston, shaking the window panes of the mansion. The sky was a bruised purple, matching the mood inside the house. Marcus had the money. It was sitting in a black duffel bag in the trunk of his car, stacks of $100 bills wrapped in rubber bands. He felt sick just looking at it. It was his savings, money meant for their retirement, now destined for a blackmailer. He was in the kitchen, drinking a glass of water, trying to calm his nerves before the drop-off that night. Vanessa was sitting at the island, staring blankly at a magazine. Suddenly, the front door chime echoed through the house. Ding-dong. Marcus froze. He wasn't expecting anyone. He looked at Vanessa. She shook her head, terrified. "Did you call the police?" Marcus hissed. "No, I swear," Vanessa whispered back. Marcus walked to the foyer, checking the security monitor. He frowned. It wasn't the police. It wasn't Trey. He opened the heavy wooden door. Standing on the porch, shaking a wet umbrella, was a young woman with braids, wearing a university hoodie and a backpack that looked too heavy for her. Maya, Marcus gasped. It was their daughter. She wasn't supposed to be home from Spelman College for another 2 weeks. "Surprise," Maya said, grinning, but her smile faltered as she looked from her father to her mother, who was now standing behind him. Maya was 21, smart, observant, and fiercely intuitive. She looked at her father's disheveled appearance. He hadn't shaved in 2 days. She looked at her mother's puffy eyes and the way she was wringing her hands. She looked at the duffel bag Marcus had carelessly left near the door. The air in the house wasn't just tense, it was vibrating with secrets. "I decided to come home early to surprise you guys for the weekend," Maya said slowly, stepping into the foyer and dropping her bag. The thud echoed loudly. She looked at Marcus, then at Vanessa. Her smile completely vanished. "Okay," Maya said, crossing her arms. "Why does it feel like someone died in here, and why does Dad look like he's about to run from the law?" Marcus forced a smile, but it looked painful. "Nothing, baby girl, we're just dealing with some church business, stressful stuff." Maya narrowed her eyes. She walked closer to her mother. "Mom, why have you been crying?" Vanessa opened her mouth to lie, to use the same script she had used on the deacons, but her voice failed her. She looked at her daughter, the child she had raised to be honest, strong, and God-fearing, and the shame hit her like a tidal wave. "Maya," Vanessa choked out, a sob escaping her throat. "Vanessa, stop," Marcus warned, his voice sharp. Maya whipped her head toward her father. "Don't talk to her like that." She looked back at her mother, sensing the magnitude of the situation. "Mom, what is going on? And don't tell me it's church business." Vanessa crumbled. She sank onto the stairs, burying her face in her hands. "Mom," Maya rushed to her side. Marcus stood there, the master of the house, the leader of thousands, now completely powerless. The plan was falling apart. The secret was leaking. "Maya, go to your room," Marcus commanded, trying to regain authority. "No," Maya said, standing up and facing her father. She was only 5'4", but in that moment she looked 10 feet tall. "I'm not a kid anymore, Dad. Someone is going to tell me what is going on right now, or I am not moving." Just then the house phone rang again. Ring. Ring. Marcus stared at it. He knew who it was. Trey was calling to confirm the drop-off location. "Answer it, Dad," Maya said, her eyes darting to the phone. "Who calls the landline in 2025? "It's no one," Marcus said, sweating. "It's him," Vanessa whispered from the stairs. Maya looked at her mother, then at the phone, then at her father. "Who is him?" The phone rang a third time. Was the stranger really just a blackmailer, or was he the wrecking ball that would finally bring the walls of Jericho tumbling down? The truth was about to come out, and it would hurt more than any lie ever could. The landline continued to ring, a shrill scream cutting through the heavy silence of the King mansion. Ring, ring. Marcus reached for it, his hand trembling, but Maya was faster. "No," she said, her voice sharp. She snatched the receiver off the cradle before Marcus could stop her. "Maya, don't," Vanessa gasped from the stairs. Maya didn't listen. She pressed the phone to her ear, her eyes locked on her father. She didn't say hello, she just listened. "Bishop," Trey's voice oozed through the line, loud enough for Maya to hear clearly in the quiet foyer. "Stop playing games. I know you're there. If that money isn't at the drop point in 3 hours, I'm hitting upload. I hope you like trending on Twitter." Maya's expression didn't change, but her knuckles turned white as she gripped the phone. She didn't speak. She slowly, deliberately placed the receiver back on the base, cutting off the voice. The silence that followed was worse than the ringing. "Who is that?" Maya asked. Her voice was terrifyingly calm. It was the calm of a judge delivering a life sentence. Marcus rubbed his face, looking aged and defeated. "It's a situation, Maya, a business dispute." "Don't lie to me," Maya shouted, the calm shattering instantly. "That man threatened to upload something, he demanded money, and Mom looks like she's about to throw up. I am not a child, Dad, tell me the truth or I swear I will walk out that door and never come back." Vanessa stood up, her legs shaky. She walked down the remaining stairs, looking like a ghost in her silk blouse. "Tell her, Marcus, or I will." Marcus looked at his wife, then at his daughter. He saw the resolve in Maya's eyes, the same stubborn fire he had when he started the church in a basement 20 years ago. He realized the game was over. The walls were already crumbling, he was just holding up the ceiling with his bare hands. "Come into the living room," Marcus whispered. For the next 20 minutes, the air in the opulent living room was thick with shame. Vanessa spoke first. She didn't make excuses. She didn't blame the church schedule this time. She just told Maya the raw, ugly truth. She told her about the loneliness, the trainer, the mistake, and the moment Marcus walked in. Then Marcus took over. He told her about the demand, the $100,000, the plan to pay Trey off to save the ministry's reputation. When they finished, Maya sat on the velvet ottoman, staring at the floor. She didn't cry, she just shook her head slowly. "So let me get this straight," Maya said, looking up. "Mom cheated, Dad, you're about to commit a felony by paying hush money, and you're both terrified that the church folks, the people who preach forgiveness every Sunday, won't forgive you." "It's not just about forgiveness, Maya," Marcus argued, his voice rising defensively. "It's about credibility. We lead thousands of people. If they see this, if they see the bishop's house in chaos, they lose hope. The ministry collapses, the staff lose their jobs, the outreach programs stop. It's bigger than us." "Is it?" Maya challenged. "Or is it just about your ego?" "Maya," Vanessa scolded gently. "No, Mom." Maya stood up, packing the room. "Dad is about to pay a criminal 100 grand to keep a secret. Do you really think that boy is going to go away? He's going to take that money, wait 6 months until he's broke again, and come back for more. He owns you now, Dad. As long as you have a secret, he has the leverage." "Hey my people, hold up. I need to check in with y'all because Maya is spitting straight facts right now. Fam, if you're agreeing with the daughter, drop a Maya nose in the comments. It's crazy, right? The parents are so deep in the mess they can't see the way out, but sometimes it takes the younger generation to come in and say, make it make sense. This is a classic case of trying to cover a lie with a bigger lie, and we all know how that ends. Don't forget to subscribe to join this storytelling family because this next move, it's going to be risky. Now let's get back to the living room because the bishop is about to get a sermon from his own child. Marcus slumped back in his leather chair. "So what do you suggest, Maya? Let him release the video, let the world see your mother like that?" "No," Maya said firmly. "You take away his power, you pop the balloon before he can." "What does that mean?" Vanessa asked, wiping a fresh tear. "It means you don't pay him a dime," Maya said, her voice gaining strength. "It means you go to church this Sunday, you stand on that stage and you tell the truth, all of it." Marcus laughed, a dry, incredulous sound. "You want me to stand in front of 3,000 people and livestream to 50,000 more and tell them my wife committed adultery and I was ready to pay a bribe? Are you insane? They'll run us out of town." "They might," Maya admitted. "But at least you'll be free. Think about it, Dad. If you tell the story, you control the narrative, you frame it as a confession, a moment of weakness, a plea for prayer. If Trey releases it, it's a scandal. If you release it, it's a testimony." The room fell silent. The grandfather clock in the hall ticked loudly. Vanessa looked at Marcus. "She's right." Marcus stared at his wife. "You want to do this, you want to expose yourself." "I'm already exposed, Marcus," Vanessa cried. "I'm living in fear every time the phone rings. I'm tired of hiding. I'm tired of being perfect. I messed up. I sinned. But I'd rather be a sinner in the hands of God than a victim in the hands of that boy." She turned to Maya and took her hand. "You're right, baby. We can't pay him. It never ends if we pay him." Marcus looked at the two women in his life. He saw their strength. He realized that for all his preaching about faith, he was the one acting in fear. He was terrified of losing his status, his title, his bishop moniker. But looking at Maya, standing tall and brave, he felt a flicker of something he hadn't felt in years: humility. If we do this, Marcus started, his voice cracking. If we do this, there is no going back. The board might fire me, we might lose the house, we might lose everything. You've already lost the home, Dad, Maya said softly. The house is just bricks. If you want to save the family, you have to burn the reputation. Marcus closed his eyes. He thought about the duffel bag of cash in the trunk. He thought about Trey's smirk. He thought about the weight he had been carrying for 5 days. He opened his eyes. Okay. Okay, Vanessa exhaled, shocked. Okay, Marcus repeated, sitting up straighter. We don't pay, we fight. So what do we do about Trey? Vanessa asked, a tremor of fear returning. The deadline is tonight, he said, 3 hours. Marcus looked at his watch. Let him wait, Maya, hand me my phone. Maya grabbed the bishop's smartphone from the side table and handed it to him. Marcus didn't dial Trey. Instead, he opened his contacts and scrolled down to Elder Thomas. What are you doing? Vanessa asked. I'm calling a special service, Marcus said, his voice dropping into that deep, authoritative register that commanded rooms. Sunday is too far away. If we wait until Sunday, Trey might leak it tonight when he doesn't get the money. We need to get ahead of him, tonight. Tonight, Maya's eyes went wide. Friday night fire, Marcus said, a grim smile touching his lips. We usually have a small prayer service on Fridays, maybe 200 people, but we stream it. I'm going to tell Thomas to blast out an alert. Emergency prophetic word from the bishop. Everyone will tune in. And then, Maya asked. And then, Marcus stood up, buttoning his collar. We go to church, and we burn the house down. Vanessa stood up, wiping her face. She looked terrified, but she also looked ready. I need to get changed. Wear the white suit, Marcus said softly to her. The one you wore when we renewed our vows. Vanessa nodded and ran up the stairs. Marcus looked at Maya. You saved us, kid. Don't thank me yet, Maya warned. You still have to get through the speech without the deacons dragging you off stage. Marcus looked at his phone. He typed a text message to Trey. I have the money, but I can't meet at the drop spot. Too much heat. Meet me at the church in 2 hours. Back entrance, come alone. He hit send. Maya frowned. Dad, I thought you said we weren't paying him. We aren't, Marcus said, his eyes cold and hard. But I need him there. I want him to see it. I want him to watch his leverage evaporate while he's standing in the building he tried to destroy. That's dangerous, Dad, Maya said. Faith is dangerous, Maya, Marcus replied. He grabbed his keys. 1 hour later, the Mercedes was speeding down the highway toward Greater Hope Cathedral. The rain had stopped, but the roads were slick and black. Inside the car, the silence was different now. It wasn't the silence of secrets, it was the silence of soldiers before a battle. Vanessa was in the passenger seat, looking regal in her white suit, though her hands were shaking in her lap. Maya was in the back, checking the live stream on her phone. People are logging on, Maya reported. Comments are asking what's wrong, rumors are already flying. Let them talk, Marcus said, gripping the wheel. They'll know the truth soon enough. They pulled into the church parking lot. It was emptier than a Sunday, but cars were streaming in. The emergency alert had worked. The faithful were gathering. As Marcus parked the car in his reserved spot, his phone buzzed. A text from Trey. I'm here, back door. Don't make me wait, Bishop. Marcus looked at the text. He looked at the church building glowing against the night sky. He looked at his wife. Ready? He asked. No, Vanessa whispered, but let's go. They stepped out of the car. The air was cool. They walked toward the side entrance, arm in arm, with Maya trailing close behind like a bodyguard. As they reached the heavy steel doors leading to the backstage area, Marcus paused. He could hear the music inside, the organ swelling, the drums kicking in, the sound of worship, the sound of his life's work. He put his hand on the door handle. Once we walk through this door, Marcus said, looking at Vanessa, we are just Marcus and Vanessa. The pedestal is gone. Good, Vanessa said, squeezing his arm. I never liked heights anyway. Marcus pulled the door open. But as they stepped into the dimly lit corridor behind the pulpit, a shadow detached itself from the wall. It wasn't Elder Thomas. It was Trey. He wasn't waiting at the back door like the text said. He had found a way inside, and he wasn't holding a gym bag for the money. He was holding Vanessa's stolen phone in one hand and a small silver pistol in the other. You think I'm stupid, Bishop? Trey sneered, raising the gun. "I saw the alert. Emergency service, you trying to pull a fast one?" The choir was singing loudly on the other side of the wall, masking the confrontation. Was the bishop's plan dead before it even started, or would this confrontation end in blood right there in the house of the Lord? The collection plate was about to be passed, but the cost tonight was going to be much higher than money. The silver pistol in Trey's hand wasn't steady. It shook violently, vibrating with the frantic energy of a man who had backed himself into a corner. The hallway behind the pulpit was narrow, smelling of floor wax and old hymnals, and right now it felt like a coffin. "You think this is a game?" Trey hissed, his eyes darting between Marcus, Vanessa, and Maya. The heavy bass of the organ on the other side of the wall thumped rhythmically, a stark contrast to the deadly silence in the corridor. "I saw the alert, Bishop. Emergency service, you were going to out me, you were going to ruin my life." Marcus stood in front of his wife and daughter, his hands raised slowly, palms open. He was terrified, his heart was hammering against his ribs like a trapped bird, but he couldn't let Trey see it. He had to be the shepherd now, not the sheep. "Trey, listen to me," Marcus said, his voice low and steady, utilizing the tone he used for counseling grieving widows. "There is no police, there is no setup. Look at me, I'm here with my family. If I wanted to trap you, would I bring my daughter?" Trey blinked, sweat dripping down his temple. He looked at Maya, who was staring at him with a mixture of fear and pity. "I don't believe you," Trey spat, waving the gun. "Where's the money? You said you had it." "I do," Marcus said. "It's in the car, the trunk of the Mercedes, $100,000 just like you asked." "Go get it," Trey ordered, gesturing with the barrel. "I can't," Marcus lied smoothly. "The service is starting. If I don't walk out there in 2 minutes, the deacons come back here looking for me, and if they find you with a gun, you'll never spend that money, Trey. You'll be in Huntsville prison before the sun comes up." Trey hesitated, the logic pierced through his panic. He was a personal trainer, not a killer. He wanted a payout, not a life sentence. Marcus reached into his pocket slowly. Trey flinched. Marcus pulled out his car keys and tossed them. They clattered loudly on the linoleum floor between them. "Take it," Marcus said. "The car is parked in my spot. The bag is in the trunk. Take the money and go. Leave the phone, disappear, and we never speak of this again." Trey looked at the keys. He looked at the door leading to the parking lot. Greed warred with paranoia in his eyes. "If you're lying," Trey warned. "I'm not," Marcus said. "Go before the choir stops singing." Trey lunged, snatched the keys off the floor, and bolted toward the exit door. He shoved it open, disappearing into the rainy night. Vanessa let out a breath she had been holding for what felt like a lifetime. She slumped against the wall, clutching her chest. "He's going to take the money, Marcus, our savings." "Let him take it," Marcus said, straightening his tie, though his hands were trembling. "Money we can replace, but this," he pointed to the stage door, "this is our only chance to get our souls back." Maya stepped forward, grabbing her father's hand and her mother's hand. "Are you guys ready?" Marcus looked at Vanessa. She was pale, shaking, but her jaw was set. She looked beautiful and tragic in her white suit. "No," Vanessa whispered, "but let's do it." Marcus nodded to Elder Thomas, who had just rounded the corner, looking confused about why the back door was open. "Bishop, you're on," Thomas said, touching his earpiece. "Thomas," Marcus said, his voice grim, "call the police. Tell them there is an armed man in the parking lot stealing my car, but don't let them stop the service. We have something to say first." Thomas's eyes went wide, but he saw the look on the bishop's face. He didn't ask questions. He nodded and pulled out his radio. Marcus pushed the stage door open. "Hey, my people, let me catch my breath because I think I stopped breathing when that gun came out. Fam, if you were the bishop, be honest, would you have given up the keys, or would you have tried to fight him? That was a gamble. He just gave away $100 grand to get that man out of the building. That is high-stakes poker right there." Drop a Team Marcus or Team Maya in the comments because this family is fighting for their lives right now. And listen, if you're enjoying this ride, please hit that subscribe button. We are building a community here, and I want you in the front row for the finale. Now let's get back to the sanctuary, because the bishop is about to drop a bomb on his congregation. The lights were blinding. As Marcus and Vanessa walked onto the massive stage of Greater Hope Cathedral, the applause started. It was polite at first, then grew louder. The congregation, about 300 people scattered in the pews for the Friday night service, stood up, but they could feel the difference. There was no band playing them in, no upbeat praise break, just the hum of the amplifiers and the sound of two people walking to the center podium. Marcus gripped the pulpit. Vanessa stood right next to him, not behind him. That was the first sign that something was wrong. The First Lady always sat in her special chair until introduced. Today, she was standing on the front line. Marcus leaned into the microphone. He looked tired. He looked old. He didn't use his preacher voice, that booming, rhythmic cadence that could make a phone book sound spiritual. He spoke like a man. "Please be seated," Marcus said softly. The room went quiet instantly. The silence was heavy, expectant. The live stream numbers on the monitor facing the stage were climbing. 5,000, 10,000 people were tuning in for the emergency. "I know you all came here expecting a prophecy," Marcus began, his voice cracking slightly. "You came expecting a word about your future, but tonight I need to talk to you about my present." He looked at Vanessa. She nodded, tears already shimmering in her eyes. "For 20 years, I have stood on this stage and told you how to live," Marcus continued. "I told you how to have a strong marriage, how to be a man of integrity. I built this building, this organization, this reputation." He paused, looking out at the faces that trusted him. "But in building the ministry, I forgot to build my home," Marcus said, the words hanging in the air. "I neglected my wife, I neglected my daughter, I became married to this church and I made my wife a widow." A ripple of whispers went through the crowd. This wasn't a sermon, this was a eulogy for a reputation. Marcus stepped back and Vanessa stepped forward. She didn't have notes. She gripped the microphone with both hands to stop them from shaking. Vanessa started, her voice barely a whisper. She cleared her throat. "I was lonely. That is not an excuse, it is just the truth, and in my loneliness, I made a terrible choice." You could hear a pin drop in that massive sanctuary. "I was unfaithful to my husband," Vanessa said. The words rushed out, ugly and raw. Gasps erupted from the pews. Someone in the back screamed, "No, First Lady!" A deacon stood up, looking shocked. "I broke my vows," Vanessa continued, tears streaming down her face now, ruining her makeup. "I sinned against God, against Marcus, and against you. I allowed another man into my heart and into my bed." The shock in the room was palpable. It was a physical wave of disappointment and judgment, but Vanessa didn't stop. "But that's not where the story ends," she said, her voice gaining a sudden, fierce strength. "Because when I tried to end it, that man tried to destroy us." Marcus stepped back up, standing shoulder to shoulder with her. "For the past week," Marcus said, his voice rising, "we have been blackmailed. The man my wife was involved with demanded $100,000. He threatened to release videos. He threatened to humiliate us. He told me that if I paid him, he would go away." The crowd was stunned into silence again. "I was going to pay him," Marcus admitted. "I was terrified. I was going to use our savings to buy a lie. I thought your respect was worth more than the truth." He looked at Maya, who was standing in the wings, watching them with pride. "But my daughter reminded me of something," Marcus said. "She reminded me that the truth sets you free. So here we are, naked before you. I am a failed husband. My wife is a fallen woman. We are being extorted by a criminal who is holding our reputation hostage." Marcus looked directly into the camera lens, speaking to the thousands watching online. So to the man watching this, to Trey. The name echoed through the sound system. "You have no power here anymore," Marcus boomed, his voice returning to its full strength. "You can't blackmail a man who has nothing to hide. Release the video, post the pictures. We have already confessed to God and we have confessed to our people. You are holding an empty gun." The church erupted. It wasn't polite applause this time. It was a roar. It was chaotic. Some people were crying, some were shouting prayers, some were just in shock, but the atmosphere had shifted. It wasn't judgment, it was war. The bishop had turned the congregation into an army. "We will not be held hostage," Marcus shouted over the noise. "We choose truth, we choose grace." Vanessa buried her face in Marcus's shoulder, sobbing. He wrapped his arms around her right there on stage, holding her tight. As the emotional wave crested, Elder Thomas walked onto the stage from the side. He didn't look happy. He walked right up to the bishop and whispered in his ear. Marcus's face fell. The triumphant look vanished, replaced by a cold dread. The microphone picked up the whisper. "Bishop, the car is gone, but the police found something." Marcus pulled back. What, did they catch him? "No," Thomas whispered, his voice shaking. "Bishop, they found the duffel bag in the parking lot. It was empty, but Trey didn't take the money." "What do you mean?" Marcus asked. "He left a note on the windshield," Thomas said. "He was watching the live stream on his phone in the car." "And?" Thomas looked at the crowd, then back at Marcus. "He says the price just went up. He doesn't want money anymore. He says you humiliated him in front of the world." Marcus felt the blood drain from his face. "What does he want, Thomas?" Thomas handed Marcus a piece of paper, a note scrawled in hasty, angry marker. Marcus read it, his knees nearly buckled. "You think you can embarrass me? You think this is over? I don't want your cash, I want your life. I'm not running, Bishop. I'm coming back for what's mine, and I'm not coming alone." Was the confession a victory, or did the bishop just sign his own death warrant? The truth set them free, but it also unleashed a monster who had nothing left to lose. The note in Bishop Marcus King's hand wasn't just a threat, it was a promise. "I'm coming back for what's mine, and I'm not coming alone." The ink was black and jagged, scrawled with a heavy hand that had pressed so hard it nearly tore through the paper. Marcus stood backstage, the roar of the congregation still echoing in the sanctuary, but his world had narrowed down to that piece of paper. The adrenaline of the confession, the spiritual high of burning the house down to save his soul, evaporated instantly, replaced by a cold, prickling dread that started at the base of his spine. "Bishop, we need to move," Elder Thomas said, his voice tight. He wasn't acting like a church deacon anymore, he was acting like the ex-military officer he was. "I've got 2 off-duty officers at the side exit and Detective Miller is already en route to the house. We are not safe here." Vanessa was trembling, the adrenaline crash hitting her hard. She gripped Maya's hand so tightly her knuckles were white. "He said he's not alone, Marcus. What does that mean? Who is he working with?" "I don't know," Marcus whispered, crumpling the note into his fist. "But we are not waiting to find out." They moved as a unit, a phalanx of security and family rushing toward the exit. The flashing lights of a squad car painted the wet pavement in strokes of blue and red. The rain had started again, coming down in sheets, blurring the world into a kaleidoscope of danger. As they piled into the back of an unmarked police SUV, Marcus's Mercedes was gone, stolen by Trey. Maya looked out the window. She was the one who had engineered the confession. She was the brave one. But now, staring into the dark, rainy abyss of the parking lot, she looked very young and very scared. "Dad," she said softly, "did we make a mistake?" Marcus looked at his daughter. He wanted to tell her no. He wanted to tell her that the truth was always the right choice, but looking at the fear in her eyes, he wasn't sure. "We told the truth, Maya," Marcus said, his voice sounding hollow in the cramped car. "Now we just have to survive it." The ride to the River Oaks mansion was a blur of silence and radio chatter. The police officer driving was tense, his eyes scanning the mirrors every few seconds. Detective Miller, a grizzled man who had seen too much of Houston's underbelly, turned from the front seat. He held a tablet. "We ran the prints from the note you gave us, Bishop," Miller said, his voice gravelly. "Your personal trainer isn't just a gym rat. His name is Trayvon Davis. He's got priors for extortion, aggravated assault, and he's suspected of running with a crew out of New Orleans that specializes in high-end home invasions. These guys don't play, Bishop. They target the rich, get the leverage, and bleed them dry." Vanessa gasped, covering her mouth. "A crew." "That explains the 'I'm not alone' part," Miller nodded grimly. "He wasn't just a boy looking for a payout. He was scouting you. He's been in your house, learned your routines, learned your security." Marcus felt a wave of nausea. He had invited a wolf right into the sheepfold. "So what do we do?" Marcus asked. "We go into lockdown," Miller said. "We have a patrol unit beating us to your house to secure the perimeter. You guys go inside, lock the doors, and stay away from the windows until we find him. We'll find the car eventually, it's got GPS. But until he's in cuffs, nobody leaves that house." As the SUV turned onto their street, the mansion loomed ahead. It looked different tonight. Usually it was a symbol of their success, a beacon of light. Tonight, in the driving rain with the windows dark, it looked like a fortress under siege. Hey my people, I need everyone to stop what they are doing and listen to me closely. This is the moment where the movie turns into a horror film. Fam, if you are holding your breath, go ahead and hit that like button so I know I'm not the only one stressing out. Can you imagine? You just bared your soul to the world, you think you've won, and then the police tell you that the guy you let into your house is part of a professional hit squad. That is terrifying. The bishop thought he was fighting a spiritual battle, but this is physical warfare now. Listen, if you haven't subscribed yet, you need to join this family right now. We are heading toward an ending that is going to blow your mind, and you need to be here for part 2. Now let's get back to the mansion, because the lights are about to go out. The police SUV pulled up to the front steps. 2 uniformed officers were already standing on the porch, drenched in rain, their hands resting near their holsters. "Perimeter is clear," one officer shouted over the thunder. "We checked the back, no signs of forced entry." Marcus exhaled a sound of pure relief, thank God. They rushed inside, the heavy oak doors slamming shut behind them, locking out the storm. The foyer was warm and brightly lit. The chandelier sparkled. It felt safe. "Okay," Marcus said, loosening his tie. He felt exhausted, like he had run a marathon in a suit of armor. "Vanessa, take Maya upstairs, get changed, stay in the master suite. I'm going to talk to Miller in the kitchen and figure out the next steps." "I'm not leaving you," Vanessa said, shivering. "I'm right here," Marcus said, kissing her forehead. "There are cops outside, baby. We're safe. Just go rest, please." Vanessa nodded. She took Maya's hand. "Come on, baby." Maya hesitated on the stairs. She looked at the front door, then at her father. "Dad, the alarm wasn't set when we came in." Marcus frowned. "What?" "The alarm," Maya pointed to the keypad on the wall. The little green light was solid. "It says ready, but when we left for the emergency service, I saw you set it. It should be red." Marcus looked at the keypad. She was right. He had set it. He was obsessive about it. "Maybe the storm tripped the power and it reset," Marcus suggested, though he didn't believe it. "Maybe," Maya said softly. She turned and followed her mother up the grand staircase. Marcus walked into the kitchen with Detective Miller. They poured coffee, the caffeine needed to keep them alert. "We'll station a car at the gate all night," Miller was saying, stirring sugar into his cup. "We'll track your Mercedes. Once the GPS pings, we swarm him." Marcus nodded, leaning against the granite island. He took a sip of coffee. It tasted bitter. Suddenly the lights flickered. Once, twice. Then with a loud zap, the entire house plunged into total darkness. "What was that?" Marcus dropped his cup. It shattered on the floor, the sound swallowed by the darkness. "Stay put," Miller hissed, his voice changing instantly to cop mode. A beam of light cut through the room as he drew his tactical flashlight and his weapon. "Power shouldn't just cut like that, not with your generator system." "The generator takes 10 seconds to kick in," Marcus whispered. They waited in the dark, 1 second, 5 seconds, 10 seconds. Silence. The generator didn't kick in. "Someone cut the line," Miller said, moving toward the hallway. "Bishop, stay behind me." Marcus's heart hammered against his ribs. He wasn't thinking about the money anymore. He was thinking about Vanessa and Maya upstairs. "The girls," Marcus gasped. He pushed past Miller, ignoring the detective's command to stop. He scrambled through the dark foyer, using the lightning flashes from the windows to guide him. He hit the stairs, taking them 2 at a time. Vanessa, Maya locked the door. He heard a scream from upstairs. It was Vanessa. "No, get off her." Marcus reached the landing, his chest heaving. He sprinted down the hallway toward the master bedroom. The door was wide open. A flash of lightning illuminated the room like a strobe light. The window leading to the balcony was shattered, glass covering the floor. The wind and rain were whipping the curtains into a frenzy. Vanessa was on the floor, clutching her head, sobbing. But the room was empty of anyone else. "Vanessa," Marcus dropped to his knees, grabbing her shoulders. "Where are they? Where is he?" Vanessa looked up, her face a mask of pure terror. She pointed toward the shattered window. "He was here," she choked out. "He was waiting in the closet. He didn't want the money, Marcus. He took her." Marcus froze. "Who?" "Maya," Vanessa screamed, the sound tearing her throat. "He took Maya." Marcus scrambled to the window. He looked out into the storm-battered backyard. Below, in the driveway near the back gate, he saw taillights. Not the taillights of his Mercedes, it was a black van. He saw a figure shoving a struggling girl into the side door. Maya, Marcus roared, his voice lost in the thunder. The van door slammed shut. The tires spun in the mud, throwing up debris, and the vehicle sped off into the night, crashing through the back wooden gate as if it were made of paper. Detective Miller burst into the room, gun drawn. "Bishop, what happened?" Marcus turned around. The man of God, the man of peace, was gone. In his place was a father who had just lost the only thing that mattered. "He took my daughter," Marcus said, his voice deadly calm. "He was inside the house the whole time." Miller cursed and grabbed his radio. "Dispatch 1099, we have a kidnapping in progress. Suspect vehicle is a black van headed east on Willow Lane." Marcus didn't wait. He walked past the detective, ignoring Vanessa's sobs. He walked downstairs into the dark kitchen and grabbed the keys to Vanessa's SUV. "Bishop, you can't go out there," Miller shouted from the top of the stairs. "Let us handle this." Marcus stopped at the door. He turned back, his silhouette framed by the lightning. "You handle the law, detective," Marcus said. "I'll handle the rest." He slammed the door and ran into the rain. As he started the engine, his phone buzzed on the passenger seat. It was an unknown number. Marcus answered it, putting it on speaker as he floored the gas pedal, the tires screeching on the wet pavement. "Hello," Marcus snarled. "I told you I wanted a life," Trey's voice came through, but he wasn't laughing this time. He sounded manic. "You ruined my life, Bishop. You took my reputation, so now I take your heart." "If you touch her," Marcus whispered, speeding down the driveway, "I will kill you." "Come and try," Trey said, "but bring the checkbook. The price just went up to $5 million, and Bishop, you have 24 hours before I start sending pieces of her back to the church." The line went dead. Marcus gripped the steering wheel, tears mixing with the rain on the windshield. He was driving into the dark, chasing a ghost, with no plan, no backup, and everything to lose. Fam, do not click off. Did you hear that? Pieces of her back to the church. My heart is literally pounding out of my chest right now. The bishop has gone rogue, Maya is gone, Trey is not just a scammer, he is a psycho. This is where we have to stop for part 1 because I cannot handle any more stress today. But you already know part 2 is going to be absolutely explosive. The bishop is about to go John Wick mode to get his daughter back. Let me know in the comments, will Marcus pay the $5 million, or is he going to hunt Trey down himself? If you enjoyed this story, smash that like button and hit subscribe so you get the notification the second part 2 drops. You do not want to be late for that. And drop a comment below and tell me which country you're watching from. Let's see how far this story is traveling across the world. Until next time, stay safe, watch your circle, and keep it locked right here. Peace.